Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about locator strategies using Xpath ID and also difference between absolute versus relative XPath. Let's get started. XPath is also known as an XML path language. XPath is used to traverse and interact with HTML structure of a web page, and it is one of the widely used locator strategy. In real time, we build more than 80 to 90% of the locators using the XPath ID, name, and CSS selector, out of which XPath is widely used. So if you look here, this is the XPath syntax. So this one is this is the syntax for absolute XPath, and this is the syntax for relative XPath. And the difference between these two is that if you are using absolute XPath, this one traverses through each of the tag starting from HTML and until the desired element is found. And it is vulnerable if there are any changes in the DOM structure and result in automation failures. Because if DOM structure is changed and your automation script is going to fail because the absolute path will get changed because this is a static. So that's why, we don't use absolute XPath, and we mostly use the relative XPath. So relative XPath starts from middle of the DOM structure, and this is most reliable XPath. So now let's go to Eclipse, and then we can execute a test case to see how does this XPath work. So here, this is the Selenium Webdriver automation script that I have created to demonstrate, absolute as well as the relative XPath. So here, I am skipping these three steps because I have already explained in my previous videos. So now let us go to this step. Here we are using driver.get method to place the URL in the browser and then launch the respective website. And then I'm waiting 5 seconds. And then I'm using this statement to find an element using XPath, relative XPath and ID attribute. Here you need to use by.xpath in order to identify an element using XPath, and followed by, this is the syntax. So here we are using tag name and followed by attribute, and then followed by the attribute value, and then using the send keys to pass this first name to the web page. And then I'm waiting again 5 more seconds because you should be able to see the test execution during runtime. And then, I'm using one more element to show you the absolute XPath. If you look into, the syntax here, right, we are still using by.xpath. And then this is the absolute XPath entire path. This is starting from beginning of the HTML page and ending the XPath until we find an element. And then we are sending last name and populating with this last name. And then we are waiting 5 more seconds, and then we are quitting the application. Now let's go to this URL and then inspect the elements to see whether we are able to identify the elements using the Xpath ID as well as absolute XPath. All right, this is the application. So I'm going here, just right click and inspect element. So you can click on this arrow and then click here to highlight the respective element, right here. And then you can type, Command F if you are using Mac, otherwise Control F to open the search box here. And then let us type the syntax. It is, we should start with, 2 /, and then here tag name is input. And then bracket @ here I wanted to use ID equal to, this is in the quotes, the value of an attribute, and then close the brackets. Now you should be able to see we are able to highlight the web element, and that is first name. So we can use this one as is to see whether we're able to identify an web element using this locator. Now let's go back to Eclipse. So here I already copied to save the time. And then, let's go to absolute XPath, and then we will check it out whether we're able to identify the web element last name using the absolute XPath. So here I'm taking out this one and pasting here. See, here we should be able to identify the last name. If you look into the DOM structure, right, it is starting from here, HTML, and followed by body, and then followed by div tag, right, and then followed by form, and then followed by again div tag, and then here we have a couple of div tags, and then that's what you see div to, and then followed by the input, which is why this is longer XPath expression whenever you look into absolute XPaths. And also, say for example, if this structure has been changed and you end up failing this XPath, and then you create a new XPath for the new hierarchy, which is why this is not reliable. We don't use absolute XPath in the real time. However, we can give a try to see whether this will help us to identify the web elements. And so here I'm already copied. Let us go ahead and run our test now. Okay, just right click here and run as Java application. Yeah, here you see Chrome browser launched with the desired application, and it is waiting now. And then it is entered the first name, and then for first name we used relative XPath. For last name we use absolute XPath. It works as long as the path does not change. All right. the test has been executed successfully and also driver quitted successfully. I think that's all I wanted to cover for this video. Hope you like this one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.